When his mom brought up Claire again, the ex-girlfriend they can't seem to let go of, I didn't bite. I sipped my drink, nodded along, and redirected my focus to my plate. By the end of the night, I could tell Andrew was frustrated, but he didn't say anything. Then came his dad's birthday. For years, I had gone out of my way to pick thoughtful, personalized gifts for his parents. This time, I forgot. We showed up with a card Andrew had picked out, and that was it. His mom made a comment about how I always used to bring such lovely gifts, but I just smiled and changed the subject. Andrew didn't even notice. The hints from his mom started shortly after. She casually mentioned how nice it would be if someone planned a 4th of July barbecue this year. I pretended not to hear her. When she repeated herself, I smiled and said, "That does sound nice." Then I turned back to my conversation with Andrew's dad. The silence that followed was awkward, but I didn't let it bother me. Even when they asked me direct questions, I kept my answers short and neutral. How's work? Got a simple busy, but good. Any plans for the weekend? Was met with not sure yet. It wasn't rude, but it was clear that I wasn't going to engage beyond the basics. It didn't take long for Andrew to notice. One night, he brought it up, saying his family had mentioned I seemed standoffish lately. I pointed out that I wasn't doing anything different from what they'd been doing to me for years. He didn't have much to say to that. To drive the point home, I started praising my own family more often. At one dinner, when his mom made another passive-aggressive comment about how her family does everything together, I casually mentioned how much I loved how welcoming my parents were. They're always so excited to include everyone, I said, smiling. The tension at the table was palpable. As invitations rolled in, I started saying no. Sorry, we can't make it this weekend became my go-to response, and I didn't bother explaining further. Instead, I spent my time focusing on things that made me happy, spending time with my family, hanging out with friends, or just relaxing at home. The guilt tripping eventually started, but it wasn't directed at me. Andrew's mom began calling him, complaining about how distant I'd become and how it was hurting the family. For once, Andrew didn't immediately take their side. He started noticing how often they excluded me or made comments that were clearly meant to undermine me. One of their family friends even mentioned to Andrew that it seemed like his parents were harder on me than anyone else. Finally, Andrew admitted that his family's behavior was problematic. He struggled to know how to confront them, but it was a start. For the first time in years, I felt like we were on the same page. Update 2. A few weeks after my quiet protest began, I decided to host a small dinner party, but this time I made a point of doing things differently. Instead of inviting Andrew's entire family as usual, I kept the guest list selective. My parents, siblings, and a couple of Andrew's extended family members who had always been kind to me were invited. Andrew's parents were included, but not as VIPs. They got the same last-minute, casual invitation I'd usually get for their gatherings. The dinner itself was simple but warm. I cooked a spread of dishes, and everyone complimented how cozy and fun it felt. Andrew's parents arrived a bit late, looking surprised to see my family already settled and chatting comfortably. I greeted them politely but didn't go out of my way to make them feel like the center of attention. Andrew seemed to notice but didn't say anything. Throughout the night, his mom kept glancing around, probably wondering why the usual crowd wasn't there. When one of Andrew's cousins mentioned how much they appreciated being included, his mom's tight smile spoke volumes. Around the same time, I started being more intentional with invitations. If there was an event I wanted to host or attend, I invited the family members I genuinely enjoyed spending time with, and left out those who made things difficult. Andrew's mom and dad weren't always on the list, and the ripple effect was immediate. A cousin mentioned to Andrew how strange it was that his parents hadn't been invited to a family brunch. Andrew relayed it to me, but I simply shrugged. I wanted to keep it small, I explained, which was true. Meanwhile, Andrew started stepping up. During a family lunch, his mom made another jab about me not